Hello, excuse me, and welcome to being Miss Diva. I haven't been on here for a while. I've been going through some situations in my life with my daughter, my oldest daughter, uh, being in the hospital and situations she's been going through while she's in the hospital, while she was in the hospital. And it has been a trying beginning of the year. My first January, February, March has been trying days. My daughter went into the hospital. My oldest daughter went into the hospital, and she was in intensive care for a while, and it took a toll upon me. Um, Days I just cried. I questioned God. I talked to myself. I questioned myself. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to perform. I didn't know what to do at all. All I know is I would look at my daughter in intensive care, and I didn't allow no one to see me crying. I cried in my pillow. I screamed in my pillow. I screamed, asking God why. I don't understand what's going on. But sometimes we go through situations, and there's a reason for everything. And at times we say to ourselves, "Well, what is the reason for this? I'm going through a situation right now, and it hurts. I'm hurting. I don't understand. I just want to scream. I just want to give up. I just want to say why. I just want to question everything about my life. I want to question everything about people around me. I just want to question everything because I'm not understanding. And I don't know what else to do. I was fault finding. Whatever I could, whoever I could find fault in, I did that. Even though they may not have been wrong, but I was hurting so bad and I couldn't understand what was going on in my life. Why was things going the way they were going? Why did my daughter have to be in intensive care? Why did my daughter have to go through what she's going through? I kept, and no matter what anyone, the doctors, the nurses, they try to comfort me, but I couldn't seem to get comfort because I couldn't understand why. Why was this happening? I mean, what did I do? That's a lot of times we start blaming ourselves that we done something wrong to cause what's happening. We said something wrong to cause what's happening. We didn't perform in a certain way to cause what's happening. And I had to tell myself, stop. And I had to keep encouraging myself. I had to keep waking up every day that the Lord allowed me to see. Every day I had to wake up and I had to say, God, help me this day. I didn't take 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month. I said, help me this day. It had to be this day, Lord, and I need your reassurance this day. Help me this day. Give me peace this day. Give me encouragement this day. Give me hope this day. Help me this day. I had to take one day at a time. I hear a lot of, I would always say, when people say, oh, just one day at a time, I never understood that, but I had got to that situation in my life. I had to take one day at a time. It wasn't easy. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, it was easy. God gave me the strength to do it and I did it. And, all was good and all was well. That would be lying. It wasn't easy. I woke up and I had to put a smile on my face. I had to encourage myself. I had to tell myself, hey, you got this. You could do this. I had to do that every day while she was in the hospital. Every day I woke up, I had to encourage myself and say, hey, you got this. You could do this. It's not impossible. All things are possible. I had to tell myself that every single day. And, I would look at other people and I would say, I would encourage other people and tell them, you can make it. You can do it. Anything is possible. Them words was easy to come out of my mouth. Them words was easy for me to say. I said them words with such boldness. I said them words with such clarity. I said them words with such determination when I would talk to other people. But when that situation came to my door, when that situation happened to me, I said, now What am I going to do? I prayed. I said, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Give me the strength this day. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to say anything to me, and I definitely didn't want to be touched. That's how sometimes we get when we're hurting. We don't want to be touched. We don't want to put their hands on us. We don't want to, anyone to say, it's gonna be okay. And I didn't have anybody that was going through what I was going through. I didn't have anybody that went through what I'm going through. So I didn't know who to go to because who could I talk to? 'Cause I didn't know anybody daughter was going through what my daughter was going through. There was nobody that could tell me, you got this, you can make it. You can, all things are possible. I didn't have nobody to tell me that. Sometimes we go through things for other people. And I know I say that a lot. And I know what I've been going through. I know it's got to be for somebody else. I know that somebody else gonna go through what I've been through, and I can help them out. I can let them know. Yeah, you're gonna have days where you're gonna cry, and I cried. I questioned God. I got upset. I wanted to give up, but then I kept saying, "Well, if I give up, who will my daughter have? If I give up, if I say I'm not doing it, I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna live a life of depression. I'm gonna just live a life of not saying anything to anybody, want nobody to say anything to me." But then I got to thinking, but somebody's going to need me. But when I was going through what I was going through with my daughter, I couldn't reach out to nobody because nobody has went through what I'm going through with my daughter. So I had to depend on God every single day, every single moment, second. I had to depend on God. And for me to sit here and say, "Oh, that was easy," I'll be lying because it wasn't. I questioned God. You say, "Well, are you allowed to question God?" I questioned him. I sure did. I didn't, I asked him, I said, "Lord, why? 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 I don't understand. Please explain to me why. What's going on? I'm not understanding. I'm not comprehending. Please help me to understand because it seems like the more I try, the more upset I got. Seems like the more I asked, the more I cried, the more I got depressed, the more I didn't want to do anything, the more I wanted to just give up. But I had to say, with God, I could do this. And I had to get up every morning and say, "God, help me." I didn't get up in the morning and say, "Hey, I got this. It's all good." No. I woke up woke up to get myself together to go out to the hospital to look at my daughter with a tube going down her, breathing for her, and she couldn't respond. So I know I had to, every word that came out of my mouth had to be positive words because even though she was on a breathing tube, it was breathing for her, she still could hear. So I had to make sure my words were positive. I had to make sure whenever I wanted to cry, I walked out of the room. I had to make sure every time I walked in her room, I said, "Good morning. I love you. I know you're going to do good. You're going to get through this. God is going to bless you. God is going to heal you." And I was talking to myself too. I needed healing. I needed healing of the hurt and the I didn't understand. I needed healing. I needed deliverance because I couldn't understand why it was happening. And I had to tell myself, keep pulling on the Lord. Do not let him go. Don't give up and blame God. And if anybody tell you you don't need to cry, that's a lie. Why you think we have tear ducts? I cried. Every day I got up, I cried, and then I had to wash my face and get it together, go outside because I knew my feelings had to be okay when I walked in my daughter's room. I knew myself, had to encourage myself. When I looked in that mirror, I kept telling myself, with God's help, I'm going to make it through this. With God's help, I know my daughter's going to be delivered. With God's help, I know my daughter's coming out of this situation. I know she's going to. I know God's got her back. I know God's got the best doctor for her. Her doctor was so sweet. He understood what I was going through. He said, I understand. He said, what you're going through, don't let it rob you of your joy. Your daughter needs your strength. She needs your encouraging words. She does not need you to come in depressed, sad, talking down. She needs to hear joy. So before you enter to her room, make sure you're entering in with such a peace. You know, if you have a child who's going through something and it's hurting you, don't let them feel your hurt. Don't let them feel your heaviness. Ask God, Lord, help me, my daughter or my son or my mother, whoever may be going through something, whoever. Say to God, God, help me to encourage this situation to help. Because if I go in with a depressed attitude, a negative attitude, crying, that's not going to help my daughter. So I had to say, God, help me. You know, a lot of times you want to say, oh, I'm okay. No, I wasn't okay. No, I wasn't. I was hurting. That was a hurt that I didn't want to deal with, but I had to. I had to stay strong for my daughter to get well. And then when the doctor came in and said, "Well, um, we're going to have to take that tube out because after so long, it's not good to have this breathing tube in because it causes more damages than it does good to keep it in." So he said we had to take it out. We had to put a trach in her, and I didn't want to hear that. And he knew I didn't want to hear that. And I said, my daughter had to have a trach in her. She had to have a feeding tube in her. And I cried. I wanted to scream. I wanted to yell. I wanted to just run. And I had to say, God, please give me the strength. Help me. And I asked him, I said, is this permanent? Will she have to have this the rest of her life? He said, I'm not going to tell you it's not permanent. I'm not going to tell you that she had to have it the rest of her life. We're going to take one day at a time, one step at a time. And I would always tell people, when you're taking steps, take it one step at a time. You can't go from the bottom step to the top step. You have to take one step at a time. And I was taking one step at a time. And when after they put the trach in her, then they, she was still unconscious. She didn't respond. Then they had to put a feeding tube in her because they couldn't feed her because they had a trach in her. It seemed like I was going down in a valley of sadness. And I had to every day reach up out of that valley and say, God, help me, pull me up, because my daughter needs my strength. She needs me. And I need to prove to her that she can do it. She's got this. She's healed. Every day I will go in there and say, you're healed. I thank God that you're healed. I thank God that you're not going to have this trach the rest of your life. They're going to take the feeding tube out. That you're not going to live like this. Lord, you said whatever I pray, believe, and I shall receive. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks. It didn't. It took a couple of months. When they took the trach out, was testing her breathing. It was doing good, but she had to have oxygen. And then, you know, eventually they took the feeding tube out. Now she's able to eat. She's not on any oxygen. She doesn't have a trach yet. All that closed up. Just look at God. I'm not saying that it happened in 2 months. No, 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 it didn't. But January was the start of me going through a situation that I thought would never happen. But God said, I got you. He every day I felt him wiping my tears because I cried. Every day I cried. I questioned God every day and I said, Lord, please forgive me for questioning you. But I had to get it. He knew how I felt. God knows exactly how you feel. And ain't no sense in you covering up, say, well, I'm not going to, I said, Lord, I don't like this. Lord, I'm mad. Lord, I'm getting depressed. Please help me. I sought the Lord. I sought him. I said, God, please help me. Every day while my daughter was in intensive care, I said, Lord, I need you. Lord, I need you. Lord, I need you. I wasn't ashamed. I didn't say, well, God, I know you're not going to help me. I knew I needed him. And I knew that he said, whatsoever you pray, believe you shall receive. I said, Lord, I know my daughter is coming out of this. I know my daughter is coming out of this. I know my daughter is coming out of this. I know my daughter is coming out of this. I know my daughter is coming out of this every day. And she did. And I thank God. I thank God. I thank God. I thank him because he did it. He said, I can do anything but fail. And he did just that. He didn't fail me. He helped me. I'm not saying, that my daughter's not going through, anything else, but I'm saying that situation. He brought me through that situation so that whoever may have to go through what I went through with my daughter, I could tell them it's all right to cry. It's all right to get mad. It's all right to get upset. It's all right to scream. It's all right because you need to release that pressure to help yourself. Don't never let no one tell you, don't cry. Cry. Don't be upset. Get upset. Don't scream. Scream. I did it all. But God knew what I was going through. He knew how I was feeling. He knew my hurt. He knew my disappointment. His son went to the cross. Jesus was beat. Jesus was talked about. Jesus was spit on. Jesus was lied on. Jesus took the suffering for us. Jesus took the hate. Jesus knew what it was like to hurt, to cry. He knew. So if Jesus knew and he knew how I was feeling and he comforted me, he could do anything but fail. So I just wanted to get on here. I know I haven't been on here for a while, but I'm back. Miss Diva is back. This is my podcast. I'll never give it up. I'll never get up because I know I'm helping somebody. Even if there's no response, I'm helping somebody because somebody's listening. And I'm here to tell you, you got this. Enjoy your day. You got this. Be blessed. You got this. God got your back. You got this. Don't give up. You got this. God knows. God cares. And remember always, God loves you. And so do I. Have an awesome day because you see another day. This is a brand new day. Enjoy your day. Enjoy it. Enjoy your day. Be blessed. And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to me, Miss Diva. God bless you.